What?
What did he say?
What did he say?
Well, I gotta hear that.
Is that? Go ahead.
She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured.
So long as Sir Jordner Hyde.
That sounds like what he said.
Remove marbles from mouth, then speak. Welcome back to the program. Dana Loesch with you. That was the President of the United States, who, by the way, guys, he's added to an Everytown event. A mom's demand. Bloomberg creates an AstroTurf group on guns and then acts like it's grassroots. Boop, doop, doop, doop. He's on his way to, he's going to be speaking at their little gun control conference thing that they're having in D.C. That's what he's doing today, talking about gun control. Everybody's out there promoting it. I cited the hashtag on X, so I'm either going to get totally throttled or just spammed by anti-gun trolls. Welcome to the program, top of the second hour, and you can stream the show. You can do all that jazz. Find us on Rumble. We're over at Rumble everywhere. And Channel 347 Direct TV as well. Do not get baited into this debate with the Hunter Biden guilty verdict, because as you know, as we were telling you, he was found guilty of lying on a federal form. It's the form, it's called a 4473. It's the form that you fill out, asks you a bunch of questions like blah, blah, blah. Are you a drug user? Have you ever been convicted of, asking you if you're a prohibited possessor is what it's trying to figure out. Are you legally barred from purchasing or possessing? Now, there's a reason why, criminals that drive the crime rate don't fill out these forms, as you can obviously see with questions like that. But Hunter Biden, he decided to do something super genius. He wrote a memoir about and merged his, tried to sell his story of drugs and strippers and cocaine, hookers and blow. That's what they should have called the book. He wrote this memoir trying to rehabilitate himself. And so that he was going to saw it as like two birds, one stone. He's going to make some money off of telling all these stories about himself and then try to rehabilitate himself as this infant baby. He was seized on by drugs, and it wasn't his idea or fault to be hooked on drugs and all this other stuff. And I think it backfired, because in the book, he was very, very detailed about how high he was and when he was high and for how long he was high and where he was high at. And so here's the kicker. It turned out when he bought his firearm, that's the literal exact time that he wrote in his book that he was high as a kite. And what's more, they found out that he had withdrawn $800 from an ATM and met with his drug dealer literally hours before he purchased his gun. And that's according to his own actual text messages to his drug dealer. Now, Kane, let me ask you something. If you are, because the firearms transaction record, the 4473, the question on here, let me scroll down to this question. Oh, here we are. So they ask you in this, they ask your country of citizenship. They ask if you intend to sell it, if you've ever been convicted of, terrorism or all this other stuff.
Right.
Drug trafficking.
I filled out one or two of those.
Yeah, I filled out a lot of these before in my time. I filled out a lot of these forms. They ask, this is question or subsection F, question 21, subsection F. Here's the question. Are you an unlawful user of or addicted to marijuana or any depressant, stimulant, narcotic drug, or any other controlled substance? And they also add, the use or possession of marijuana remains unlawful under federal law, regardless of whether it has been legalized or decriminalized for medicinal or recreational purposes in the state where you reside. So.
Actually, I don't think that's legal or constitutional. But anyway, go ahead.
That's a whole other question.
Yeah.
Dems the laws. Dems
yeah.
the laws.
Emphasis on Dems.
The question, are you an unlawful user of or addicted to any drugs or other controlled substances? If you had met with your drug dealer hours before, like withdrawn cash to give to your drug dealer for drugs hours before you went to go buy a gun, how would you answer that question if you were being honest?
Ooh, if I'm being honest? Well, I'd have to say, yeah. I mean, if I'm being honest. But also, if I'm a drug user who just purchased drugs,
Literally
I'm
hours.
not going to be honest.
Well, that was his initial defense. He's like, the hell do you expect? I'm a drug user.
Right.
Of course I lied about using drugs. And everyone was supposed to go, well, at least now he's being honest. And I guess let it slide,
Who
right?
imposes the penalties
Yeah.
of lying on the 4473?
But he withdrew money for his drug dealer for drugs. It's not like he was buying tomatoes from a roadside vegetable stand, you know. He withdrew money from the ATM for drugs for his drug dealer per his text messages to said drug dealer hours before he went and bought a gun. And it was the booger sugar, by the way, that he purchased.
Oh, so it wasn't just marijuana. Okay. Well,
Yeah. I mean, it literally is on it's the same day. And so that's how he purchased his crack cocaine at 7-Eleven stores. He was texting his drug dealer, can you meet me at 7-Eleven now? Hey, this is Junior, the one you got that at the 7-Eleven, as one of the guys wrote. And he's like, yeah, can you meet me at the 7-Eleven now? And he's like, yeah. You want the same? That's literally what he wrote. I didn't say that. IGHT. He probably had, get a autocorrect your phone probably, or self-correct. And then Hunter's like, yeah, I'm here at the 7-Eleven, blah, blah, blah. He got the Wells Fargo receipt. He has the Wells Fargo's receipt. By the way, you want to hear something hysterical? So, do you know the Wells Fargo that he went to go and withdraw the money from?
Which one?
You know you know where it's near?
What's it by?
The Wells Fargo that he withdrew the money
Yeah,
from?
where's the Wells Fargo by?
It's near Rittenhouse Station.
Oh, boy.
I'm not even making this up. I promise you I'm not. It's an ATM labeled Rittenhouse. It's by Rittenhouse Station, a University of Delaware student apartment building in Newark, Delaware. So wait, let me just get this right. Let's put it all together. So Hunter Biden, hours before he purchases a gun and lies on a federal form, withdraws money from the Rittenhouse Station ATM, texts his drug dealer, I got the money, meet me at the 7-Eleven, gets his booger sugar, and then goes and buys his gun. Just,
Can I point out that there is an impressive amount of evidence that the prosecution had in this case?
the amount of evidence is like the amount of gold bullion that Scrooge McDuck has in his giant vault. The jurors were just taken to a big vault and the door was open and they walked out on a platform. And beneath their feet, mounds of evidence. That was it. That's it. Now you wonder why there's a guilty verdict. You don't wonder why. If you're lying on the form, can I just touch on the fact that it was the Rittenhouse Station ATM? And it just showed up as he got money from Rittenhouse to go and illegally buy a gun after he snorted some booger sugar after buying it from his drug dealer. Just saying. Golly. Just the dumbest man alive. This is like the juicy sommelier guys that he hired who walked into the hardware store on camera buying kidnapping supplies, right? Where they had the zip ties and the rope. Sidebar, if someone ever came, like if you were a cashier and someone came up with that stuff, the first thing I could not be a cashier, like at a hardware store or a supermarket, because I would be endlessly judging people. I would be endlessly judging you. Oh, this woman's coming up with Little Debbie's and Chardonnay, rough night. I'd be judging everybody. So that's what.
So we see he's guilty on 3 different counts, clearly crimes. What again was Trump's crime? Again, if you had
I mean, am I make believing or am I being real?
well, yeah, hopefully being real,
Okay, because technically there wasn't one.
right?
I mean, for which one? The impeachment? They just didn't like him.
Right.
I'm going to impeach you because that's what That's what morons do in D.C. now if they don't like you. They're like, you're impeached.
Oh, the 34 felony counts
Oh, yeah.
of what crime?
He paid off a chonky escort
Okay.
to shut up, which isn't illegal. Immoral isn't illegal. If he did, I don't even. By the way, seriously, have you seen how much butter costs? I got bigger issues right now. Okay. Apparently, bigger issues that don't affect Chonky McChonk, who was like the star of the show when she went in to testify. Just think. Can I say one more thing? It's really mean, but I got to get it out of my system, or I'm not going to be able to progress this hour. Your side piece should not be twice the size of your wife. Okay. Moving on. Dana, that's so mean. I'm just saying if it were true, but there wasn't it. That was like that was him doing whatever he wanted to do with his own money, and they were trying to make it into a crime. Don't tell Bill Clinton. I mean, Paula Jones was like, look at my check, and turned it into like 8 syllables. Look at my check. She was like all proud of that. Look at my check. She got money from Bill. Bill gave her money, because he was trying to get her to shut up. That wasn't illegal. The Whitewater stuff was illegal. That wasn't illegal, what he did. Was it immoral? I mean, him I can't blame because he had Hillary at home. I'm not justifying it. Stop. Where are we going? The whole point is that Hunter Biden, if you just joined us, fun fact, Hunter Biden, hours before he went and bought his gun, pulled money out of his ATM at Rittenhouse Station in Newark and met his drug dealer behind a 7-Eleven. But he answered that question, 21F. He answered that question, no, I'm not on the drugs. I'm totally sober. Not on the drugs.